Alrighty guys, hopefully this is working. It's the first stream back in my studio. I'm going to see it pop up on my screen, keep an eye on the chat. And I've got the chat popped out into the OBS window, so anyone watching this after the fact can see whose questions I was fielding. Yeah, looks like it's doing something. Hey, awesome. Thanks for joining us guys. So welcome back to another Makers Muse stream. Man, have I been busy. I have been on the road non-stop for over 2.5 weeks, and I literally just got back 2 days ago, very early in the morning, and then spent pretty much yesterday trying to figure out what time of day it was. Because as a lot of you would know, Australia is kind of completely backwards to US in terms of time zones, and I wasn't quite sure which way was up. Awesome, we got Unlikely Creators, we got Kitty Grim, Wasabi on Rice, Beletastic, Technology Nerd, Sean. Cool. Did I dye my hair? No, it's just black. This is the natural hair color of my people. It's just very impossible to do anything with. It's just black. Antonio, thanks for joining, guys. So yeah, I have been absolutely bonkers busy, and it's so good to get back. I was a little bit worried. Like, this has been empty for a while. Like, is it going to be in one piece? You know, has anything blown up? But no. It's all here. No one would really steal crappy 3D printers, so it's all pretty good. And the idea of this stream is to chat with you guys, re-establish that awesome connection, tell you all about what I've been up to, and go through this bag of stuff that I've got here that was from all of you guys while I was at Bay Area Maker Faire. I was given so much stuff that, my bag was overweight, and I got charged overweight baggage fees at San Francisco Airport. Woo! So hopefully it's all worth it now. It totally is. I had such a blast meeting all of you guys there. The whole event is a blur. Yeah, Russ, yes, you do see one of those. I'll get to that in a minute. But before I get into Bay Area Maker Faire, I need to go through the event I was at beforehand, which was the National Manufacturing Week in Melbourne, or Oztech or Insight 3D Printing. So basically, 3D printing systems, Bruce was a real champ. He helped sponsor my trip to Bay Area Maker Faire, but also flew me down to Melbourne for the National Manufacturing Week, which I kind of snuck in on his bandwagon, because National Manufacturing Week is really kind of for suits. It's for large companies, and it's for very large machinery. So there was 3D printers there. I got to catch up with the guys that sell the Ultimakers here in Australia. Someone's bringing the Wasp 3D printers in as well. Bruce himself sells the Up, which I like. But there was machines that could produce stuff like this. So I've forgotten your name. I'm so sorry if you watch this. But one of my friends was working on the Haas booth, and they had a machining center there. And I asked him if I could have something. So this is machined out of steel on one of the Haas machining centers, and it had two tool changes. Sorry, not tool changes. Where you change it in the vise. So it flipped over, and it took half an hour to machine out of steel. And it's absolutely nuts. Like, 3D printing's cool, but the next level of manufacturing is, CNC. These machining centers are intense. So I got a bit of footage from that event. I will be making some videos of that, but I didn't capture as much as I would have liked. So that was 4 days. And then I basically had 1 day to recuperate. I did the video where I did the tolerance test. I put that out, so I was actually working. And then flew straight from Melbourne to Los Angeles. Excuse me, I need some water. No wonder your bag was overweight. Oh yeah, it was ridiculous. I also got some filament as well, which is over there. I'll grab later. But before I go on, at the National Manufacturing Week, there was a company, forgotten the name, where they had a machining center, but it was capable of also spraying metal down and melting it with a laser to build up roughs of parts, which they then machined afterwards. So if you're doing a tube with details, they could build up the rough of the tube instead of just hogging out a metal billet. that was really cool, and I did talk to them for a bit, but yeah, that's kind of the next iteration of 3D printing, I think, is 3D printing, then subtractive machining to come up with parts that are as strong as metal and as strong as the original billet would have been, but with a lot less wastage. Yeah, okay, so anyway, 14-hour flight from Melbourne to LAX. Shiver Wolf, LAX is a terrible airport, isn't it? It wasn't too bad, because I arrived at something like 6:45 a.m. So, to paint the picture, I left Melbourne at 7:15 a.m. and I arrived at around 6:45 a.m. on the same day. Like, basically, I was on a plane for 14 hours, but the time zones and the dates, it's as if I'd only been flying for 15 minutes or something. So, basically, I got there and I was absolutely wrecked. The 14-hour flight was just awful. Trying to sleep with an armrest digging into your chest is just absolutely awful. So my buddy Dustin, the Jat Man, has been an absolute champ. Shout out to you, man. I know you're watching the stream. He picked me up at like 7 a.m. on a Sunday morning when I was just like completely confused as to where I was. Chucked me in his car and we went driving around LA. He showed me some of the beaches, some of the downtown LA. I'll be honest, LA is a pretty dirty city. It's definitely matches what I've seen in the movies. Like, it's got that grungy feel to it, which is cool. Like, you know, the whole sort of Hollywood scene. And then we went into the hills a bit to see like where the rich people live. That was awesome. Like, going up and up, and as you went up a few houses, you could tell the prices were just clocking up. You know, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. It's really, really cool to see like these really, really expensive houses to the point where it's just private roads and you can't go any closer because they're on an acreage. So that was fun. Yeah, he is a heck of a host. Yeah, absolutely, man. You're absolutely awesome. Then we headed back to his place, and I pretty much passed out for the day because I was just knackered. But yeah, it didn't take me too long to adjust to the jet lag because I just kind of kept myself up and then fell asleep again at the end. When it was actually nighttime, it wasn't too bad to adjust. And then he had to work, sadly, so I did have some time to kind of just chill and get back on track. Oh, Sam, thanks for subscribing. I do appreciate it. Where was I? Okay. So, essentially, being Australian, my geographic knowledge of America is zero. I know what I've seen in movies, and that's about it. So, California, I didn't know was, like, massive. I had no idea just how huge California actually is. So, when, basically the plan was to fly to LA and attend the Matter Hackers meetup, and then drive with Dustin to San Francisco for the Bay Area Maker Faire. I had no idea that drive was going to be like 7 hours long, and it was a exceedingly long drive. But before we left, we went to the Matter Hackers meetup, which was insane. So if you guys saw me streaming, so I just can't try to keep an eye on the chat. Yeah, so if you guys saw me streaming, I hit 100k subscribers at the Matter Hackers meetup. I was trying to stream it on my phone, the connection was poor, but that was absolutely nuts. It was literally surreal. And right now, as of today, I still can't quite understand that number. So I am hugely thankful to all of you guys for subscribing. I love making 3D printing more accessible and more enjoyable and empowering creativity. I never did it for the subs, I guess, but I am so thankful for you guys for subscribing. It was absolutely insane. I got to sit down with Dave from Matter Hackers, Joel Telling of 3D Printing Nerd, and myself, and we were on a stream on the Matter Hackers couch, and that was just awesome. They actually had a cake for Joel because he hit 100k a month or so before, and we ended up sharing it because like we both hit 100k, which was just nuts. It's probably going to hit me a little bit later. Oh, I got Joel in the chat. Thank you so much for joining, dude. 3D Printing Nerd, if you haven't subscribed to Joel Telling, you really should. You should go check out his channel. But we were both just there, and it was just a real surreal experience. So, right. Swag bag. So, Russ, you're in the chat. I must admit, I don't know too much about this form yet. I'm still trying to research what you're talking about, but something crystalline matrix, QSN, I believe. So essentially, we're outside Matter Hackers, and Russ just jumped me and Joel and said, "Hey, I've got this thing to show you." And he pulled not only this model out, but many others of different sizes. So if you guys have seen my Torture Lattice Cube test, it's like maybe a fraction of what he's pulled off here. Same kind of overhangs, just ridiculously more of them. And I will test this on my own machines. Don't worry about that. But yeah, I must say, I had this in my bag floating around, and it hasn't broken. So if you haven't seen Russ's channel, it's RWG. Was it 42985? Sorry. I think you sat on it or something. I just had a quick look. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah. I'm definitely going to test this out further. I mean, I love the fact that I torture things and then you came out of nowhere with something that's just like obscene. So that's cool. That was an awesome gift. Thank you so much. And it is tough. It's really strong. So that was fun. And again, like there were so many people coming up and saying hello and thanks for your content. And for everyone who came at the Matter Hackers meetup, thank you so much for introducing yourself. I had so much fun meeting you all. Yeah, Lucas is right. So much 3D printing awesomeness in one place. It really was absolutely insane. So I also got given this from someone. Jeff, I believe you just gave it to me on the way out or something. I was, again, just a blur to me. This is a really sick little spaceship. It looks like you would have cast it from a model. So that's super cool. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, unlike the creator saying the QSN is next level, it really is. And the rest that's in the bag, I'm not sure if I got it from the Matter Hackers meetup or the Area Maker Faire, so I'll go through that in a minute. I'm just going to go through the chat again to see if any questions I might have missed. Sam is asking what PLA do I use for the Cheaty Tech X1. Dude, use any PLA you like, it should take all of them. Future Maniacs is getting a Monoprice Select Mini 3D printer for their first. Awesome. That's a good first printer. Make a box and fill it with 100,000 grains of rice. I have been thinking of how to demonstrate what 100,000 looks like. A 3D print with 100,000 layers would be a pretty big print. But I don't know. Yeah, that spaceship is pretty neat. New Cocoon Create, Ryan Cookie. Yes, the Cocoon Create Touch or whatever was released 2 weeks ago or so. And they sold out instantly, as the Aldi printers do. So if you didn't get one, then you're too late. Sorry. Right. Tim, you're asking about the Ender 2. I've never heard of it, sorry, so I can't comment. Right, Mech Academy, Angus, what kind of high-wind linear rails would you use to make your own high-end 3D printer? Okay, so cool story. Back at National Manufacturing Week in Melbourne, I had an awesome long chat with the guys at Highwind, and they have a really cool new low-profile miniature rail, which is like thinner than the normal ones. That was really neat and definitely suitable for a 3D printer. I will be in touch with them because they also have servo systems now that are the same kind of size as NEMA 17s, which is going to be awesome. So keep an eye out for that. I will be in touch with them, but they've got a cool low profile one. All right, so before I go on, guys, I need to shout out to my sponsors. So basically, Australia to US is not a cheap flight. So before I even thought this was possible, I put a call out on Twitter and asked manufacturers and companies if they're interested in sponsoring me to get there. And I did get an awesome response. So first of all, I got a shout out to X3D here. X3D are an Australian-based supplier of filaments and printers. They're actually based in my old hometown in WA, in Perth, WA, but they resell Australia-wide. So as part of this deal, they're doing they do samples. So basically, if you head over to X3D and then you want to get a sample of a filament without committing to a whole roll, you can use Makers Muse to get double the amount you normally would. So as a coupon code, Makers Muse, and you get double, which is awesome. And then we have Aleph Objects. I am totally wearing their awesome swag. It's cold as well. who make the lulz bots. So I've got an awesome video coming out about the Taz 6. I had a really long chat with Claudio at the Mana Hackers booth about the whole philosophy, open source philosophy of Aleph objects, and it was a real eye-opener actually to how they approach their 3D printing hardware and their actually business as a whole using open source philosophy. So basically, they're a sponsor to help me get there as well. And the really cool thing is you can actually get a lulz bot in Australia now through Core Electronics. They're based in Newcastle, and they'll send Australia-wide. So the biggest issue for a long time is these awesome companies in America. As an Australian, you couldn't get hold of the products, but now you can through Core Electronics. So massive thanks to Aleph Objects with lulzbot and X3D. And finally, we had 3D Printing Systems, who got me to Melbourne and also helped me get to US, who sell the Up Minis, and also Mark of PO Poly, who makes that one, the Moai SLA, which was on Kickstarter not too long ago, which is a really sick little machine. And he was at Bay Area Maker Faire as well. So huge thanks to those guys. Absolutely, Panzer Shrek, heads up about X3D. Yeah, absolutely, dude. So, I used to work with X3D when I was in Perth. Mark is a really good guy. Just tell him Angus sent you, and he'll sort you out. No problem at all. Right, yeah, Hoodie Envy. How cool is this hoodie? It is so comfortable. Oh, thank you, lulzbot, for this awesome hoodie. All right, back on track. So, Mana Hackers Meetup was absolutely sick. Then we did the 7-hour road trip with the Jatman to San Mateo for the Maker Faire. Unfortunately, at this stage, I'd been traveling for so long that I was starting to get a bit sick. It's no one's fault, really, but I am quite sort of sensitive to foods, and I was just getting a bit nauseous and a bit ill. So, it did eventually culminate to me being quite sick at the end of the trip, sadly, but I had a great road trip with Jatman, doing some streams, thanks to See Me CNC. So basically, we pitched the idea to them that we'd do a stream on the road to the event, and See Me CNC sent out a 4G router to be like, yeah, stream while you're on the road. So if you want to look through my channel, you'll see some of the videos that we did on the road. The quality's hit and miss. I mean, we were driving through just fields of nothing, but it was a lot of fun. Made the trip go a lot faster than it would have otherwise. So we got there, set up, and basically the Mana Hackers booth was like the head of operations for all the YouTubers. I'm not sure how they pulled it off. It was actually pretty cool to see how everyone was based in one spot. We had Ultimaker and lulzbot also kind of in the Mana Hackers booth. But basically that's where everything was set up. And there was their base of operations for the actual Maker Faire. Right, I'm going to take a drink and go through some of the comments. All right, so Unlikely banned someone. Thank you very much, Unlikely Creators. I do appreciate it. Aussie Matt, have you tried the Poly Smooth? That's coming soon. I didn't have anything to put my swag bag on, so it's currently sitting on a polisher from Polymaker. So I will absolutely be testing out Poly Smooth very soon. I've got a polisher to test out. Gents and Games, you have been sick. You're too handsome to die. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because I was just eating out every night, and the problem is you never know what's in takeout food, so just sometimes it was hit and miss, and I'm very sensitive to new things, I guess, so I did get a bit sick some of the evenings, but no, it was no one's fault. Igor was saying, the first time I've seen the Cetus 3D printer was on your channel. Would you recommend it as a first 3D printer as a complete noob, or do you get something cheaper to start off? I wouldn't go much cheaper than the Cetus. Go check out my video on the 3D printers I recommend under $350. Anything in that list I would recommend, but if it's a kit, you're going to be putting it together, whereas the Cetus, it kind of works out of the box. Cool. Okay. Electro, Angus, I've been working with Russ on ceramic non-stick nozzles. Do you want help trying prototypes? I remember you showing me that, Russ. Yes, please send me a message to the sales at Makers Muse email. I will absolutely respond. I am very keen to try them out. Mark, welcome back, Angus. I wonder why you went quiet. Yeah, I was pretty bonkers busy and then sick, but thanks for jumping in. Okay, right, back on track. Bay Area Maker Faire. So, I've been to smaller Maker Fairs before, I've been to the Sydney one before, and they're busy, but Bay Area Maker Faire was next level. So, to put it in perspective, I didn't see much of the other booths, and I barely saw everything in the room that, the hall that we were based in where Manor Hackers was. And to be fair, I mean, this is my first ever attempt at something like this, and as an individual, filming in these events is exceedingly difficult. I did get some great footage I'm going to be recording voiceovers on, but I need to kind of do what Joel Telling did with a cameraman to actually do interviews. There's just too much stuff. So basically, the rules for next time is Lady Muse must be attending. There's no way I can do an event like this again without her filming for me, because, like, it's just too much stuff. There's too much to go wrong with filming gear, and there's just too many people to understand that you're trying to film something, because it's packed. It was, to put it in perspective, as an Australian living in Sydney, it's like the Easter show. Like, there's just so many people, but they're all interested in what you're interested in, so it's just next level coolness. Anyway, so Shiva Wolf is saying, the biggest thing that threw me through the sickness loop in the US was the high fructose corn syrup in their soft drinks. Yeah, I actually may be sensitive to that. That was one of the theories I got at the end of the trip, because I don't ever take that in. Like, you know, I've got, this is an Australian energy drink, Mother, and it's made with cane sugar. It's not made with high fructose corn syrup. So maybe that's what triggered me. Yeah, and Joel's saying cameraman's definitely the way to go. You need yourself a Sean. Yeah, Sean was an absolute champ with Joel, helping him out. And also you had Xavier, who was helping out Jerry Barnacles. Just side note, meeting Jerry was incredible. He was everything and more that I expected. Like, you know, he's crazy and hyper on his videos. He's crazy and hyper in real life. He is an amazing guy, and I had loads of fun sitting in his coffee streams in the mornings, which unfortunately are 2 a.m. my local time. So I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make them now I'm back in Sydney, but I had so much fun meeting him. Makers Muse, I think Jackman should be a mod. I had no idea he wasn't a mod. Okay, that's mod you. Add mod. Oh, it's that, Jackman? I actually accidentally clicked ban. My mistake. That's an inside joke. Okay, swag bag. Right, guys. So, as I said, the Maker Faire was absolutely insane, and I met so many of you guys, and a lot of you gave me things. So, this bag is full of what I was given. Some of it may have been misplaced elsewhere, but this is kind of what I could find. Sam's asking, do I support the first robotics competition? I did check out the robotics competition going on. First isn't really my thing. I'll be honest. I don't like the idea of it being a lockdown system. It seems a bit too commercialized for me. I know it's still educational, but I still prefer combat robots where you can use anything you like, any components to make your machines. Right. So, Print 3D channel. So, this is an awesome sticker from my buddy Jeff. I hope it's Jeff. I'm so bad at names. Please correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. Who's been doing videos every day on 3D printing, which is just insane. Right. Oh, here we go. Maker Faire t-shirt. Thanks to someone very, very special. Thank you so much. Also, I have a the Wonder Hero box. I thought it would be a good place to put the swag in. There you go. To commemorate this event. Don't ban Captain Balls. Yeah, Jackman's not afraid to use the ban hammer. He's a good mod, actually. He mods on Jerry's streams as well. Silent Gamer, do I recommend the Lolsbot Mini? Stay tuned. I will be reviewing the Lolsbot Mini very shortly. I've been in touch with them, and also there may or may not be a modification I'm going to do to it with the More extruder, which will be insane. So keep an eye for that. Okay. Right. Now this is cool. So, for those who don't know, Kodama made the Trinus Kickstarter campaign, and I'm good friends with the guys at Kodama, and they had their new machine, the Obsidian, on display. So the Obsidian is a $99 3D printer. It's not going to be exactly $99. It's going to be more like, 99 plus, if you want a heated bed, plus if you want an LCD, it'll be about $250 or so if you want all the features. But this was some promotional filament they made, which is actually made from crushed obsidian, stone, and PLA. So basically crushed glass and PLA. Because obsidian is volcanic glass. So I've been told by the guys that it is quite hard to print with, so I may want to use a hardened nozzle and a larger diameter, like a 0.5 or so millimeter nozzle. But yeah, it's actually hardened obsidian, stone, and PLA as a promotional thing. That's pretty cool. Alright, next. Another awesome Lulzbot t-shirt you'll be seeing in many future videos. Their logo is pretty cool. I did question them on where the Lulzbot name came from, because I'm familiar with the company from years ago when they had the Mendel Max with the big spool holder, and even before then. They said to look through the Internet Archives and I'll find out. So I'm going to dig deeper to find out the meme where Lulzbot came from. Joel saying the Kodama Obsidian looks cool. I hopefully will get the $149 one for a review. Yeah, so the Obsidian, in my opinion, looks like an Apple product, actually. It's like a really miniature, I suppose. The mechanism looks like an Ultimaker, but the machine itself maybe looks a bit like the Cube from 3D Systems before they killed the whole Cube ecosystem. Same kind of idea. It looks pretty, and it's going to be pretty cheap as well. I finally got my hands on some BL Touches as well. They were more than happy to give me some, so you're going to see some bed leveling coolness on my machines. Polar White Firth. Oh, thanks for the $2. Will I ever review the Monoprice Select Mini? Well, okay, sidetrack. I did chat to the Monoprice guys for quite a while at Bay Area Maker Faire. They're really cool. I will stay in touch. But their market currently is the US market, not Australia. So maybe, but it probably won't be the actual machine they spec. It might be the actual Malian M200, which Hobby King carry, because Hobby King sell to Australia. Currently, Monoprice is really just US based. So definitely look for it. I mean, Jatman, so Dustin over on his channel, the Jatman, he's tested both versions, the V1 and V2 Monoprice Select Mini. Myself, probably not so much. Yes, Paris was lovely, and she was quite fond of me. We got some lovely photos at the event. Alright. Swag. Sponsor. Media. I'm going to be holding onto these for quite some time. Oh, Filamental, thank you so much. I did have a fantastic time. Cheers, it was awesome fun. Show and tell. Alright. Here we go. Someone came up and gave me a Raspberry Pi Zero wireless at the Matter Hackers event, because I've always complained in my videos that I can't get hold of one because they don't exist in Australia. They sell it instantly. So, again, I'm so bad with names, but I remember you, and thank you so much for this. It will definitely find its way into a project with Octoprint or something similar on it, because I've been wanting to get a hold of one of these for ages, and yeah, cheers. It's really good. Right, what else do we have? Oh, another BL Touch. Paris made sure I got more than one. This is cool. Alright. So this is actually from the National Manufacturing Week in Melbourne rather than the Bay Area Maker Faire. I can show you on the video there. It's a little wrench. This is 3D printed in titanium. I'm not even kidding. So this is actually printed on a full powder metal 3D printing system, which uses titanium. And you can do it as a, you can commission parts to be printed through the company, and the company is called Rams. I don't know if you can see it. It says Rams there, R-A-M-S. They're based in New Zealand, and this has been, like, the supports have been cleaned off and it's been tumbled, so it doesn't look this pretty off the machine, but this is legit 3D printed titanium, and it's a little wrench. Yeah, how about that? One of the coolest sample prints I've ever been given. Also, thanks to Bruce for like grabbing it for me. That was cool. Jensen Games, can I 3D print a band hammer? Probably, yeah, that's not a bad idea actually. I think Japman needs one. Yeah, so that little wrench was printed with direct metal laser sintering, so it's a metal powder 3D printing process. Very expensive, but very accurate, and the parts have very high density as well. So very useful for actual final use products. It's really neat. Maryl's sweet wine is saying, I can't believe you survived the trip up Highway 5. It's so boring. Well, I did have Japman to talk to, and also the stream to keep us occupied. Though we did kind of miss our turn off because we were streaming and not paying attention. Well, that's not my fault though. Alright, have a look at this. This is not a flyer, this is BuildTak. So, I finally got to meet the team at BuildTak. I have always wanted to chat with them, and this is a BuildTak surface for the Maker Faire. So, you know, full 3 colors, it's their most premium offering, and I'm definitely going to be working with BuildTak in the future. We even talked about the idea of a Makers Muse BuildTak sheet. I don't know, might be pretty cool. And yeah, like, I have a problem when I don't ask for stuff. They were like, you know, why don't you ask for things? And I'm like, well, I just don't do it. So I'm going to be talking to them more about the idea of getting a branded BuildTak sheet. Maybe something I can sell through the website or something along those lines. Oh, Electro, I have access to an EOS direct metal laser sintering in Sydney if you need it. Dude, that's awesome. Maybe. I don't really have anything to justify getting made in metal, but it's pretty cool. Like, I gotta say, if I did need something functional for a little robot frame, maybe I might get in touch with you. Sam was asking, was it weird for you to drive on the right side? So, I was not driving because I would have died, but yes, it's very strange for the fact the cars are on the different side of the road. So, you've grown up, look, the right way before crossing the road, and it's just instinctual. So you just have to force yourself to look the other way. And sometimes it's easy when it's just a standard 2-way intersection, but when there's like 4-way and cars are turning against a red and stuff like that, it's really, really scary because you just keep looking the wrong way and you're like, oh, that's the way the cars are going, and you don't know. It's really hard. So if I was driving, I'd be very confused. Joel's saying you'd totally rock a Makers Muse BuildTak sheet. That would be awesome, man. I'd totally love to see that. Maybe I should get one. Okay. We're getting more into the Maker Coin side of things. Oh yeah, that's a Kodama Obsidian stone. Good luck stone. They had lots of cool promotional stuff. I gotta say, Kodama's good at that. Mr. T-Bone saying, did I try Five Guys burgers while I was there, or did I prefer to In-N-Out? I did try In-N-Out. I didn't try Five Guys. Basically, I was very much over burgers before I even got to America because I'd been eating them every single day at the trade show in Melbourne. So I didn't have too many, but the In-N-Out was a good, simple burger. It was fresh, and I had no problems with it, actually. That's probably one of the better burgers I've ever had, I'll be honest. Spinner. So, at the Matter Hackers meetup, these 2 kids and their dad came up to me and Joel and basically said that they worked on these spinner designs, and they used my tutorials and Joel's 3D Printing Nerds tutorials to come up with them, and they wanted to give them to us, which was so cute. It was so awesome. So they ended up giving me this one with little balls in it, and Joel got one that was a bit different. I think his one had the nuts in it. And that was cool. That was so cool. Just seeing like the next generation of kids and what they are doing with advanced manufacturing technologies to do what they want. I mean, they wanted a fidget spinner and they made one. That's just awesome. So this is pretty cool. I'm going to keep hold of this. Right. Digging down. Jimmy Shaw's tidbits. So, funny story, I was heading back from one of the other booths, and I ran across Calvin. So on Calvin's channel, Make It With Calvin, and Jimmy, but I didn't realize it was Jimmy. I was just like, wait. And he was like, you don't know who I am, do you? I'm like, he's like, Jimmy. I was like, oh, no way. So, Jimmy, I finally got to meet you. It was awesome. And thank you for one of your little coins. So, that's Jimmy's Maker coin there. I definitely treasure it. Put it aside there. It was so cool meeting people I've talked to on the internet for years, actually in person. Epic Killer 914. Thank you so much for $2. What is the best thing you have ever 3D printed? Probably the best thing I had printed was the first thing I printed, which was the little clip that held my Up Mini's bed in place, because my first ever 3D printer was an Up Mini and it arrived broken, so I had to fix it for my uni work. So I printed a clip and held the bed in place for 10 minutes as it printed the clip, so I could get it going again. I know it's boring, but that was like eye-opening. I was fixing a machine with parts that it printed itself. That was cool. I've printed many things since then, but that's probably one of the things that's, just really changed my opinion and outlook on how 3D printing can affect, stuff around you. Yeah, Joel's saying the kids were 7 years old. So the kids that did this spinner were 7 and they were having their birthday on the weekend. How cool is that? That is just nuts. No, Jimmy coin. Jimmy gave me a couple of coins. Okay, and I talked about Calvin just before. Check this out. So Calvin gave me this, which is, if it will focus, a Makers Muse 100,000 subscriber spinner. It's made from brass, and I actually visited Calvin's workshop in San Francisco, and he's got this tiny, Harry Potter under the stairs kind of setup with a CNC milling machine, which, he's built from scratch almost, and made this for me. So huge thanks to Calvin for this. It's awesome. It's already starting to tarnish, which is nice. I love how brass sort of gets that look to it. And I just need a bearing to pop in it. It's going to be a really nice little Makers Muse 1,000 subscriber fidget spinner. Nicole's asking, what are my thoughts on the TiVo Little Monster? I'm not testing one anytime soon, but Joel Telling does have one, and he'll be testing it at some point. And someone was asking, I'm not sure where it was, about Fusion 360 versus SolidWorks. Fusion 360 is free for people like me, so Fusion 360. That's basically all there is to it. Right, more stuff. Unlike the creators. Dude, it was so awesome catching up with you. You are so chill and just such a nice dude. And I wish I had more time to chat, honestly. I really do. So, if you haven't seen Unlike the Creators' channel, he is a mod in this stream. Go check it out. I love your style as well. It's a bit like Napoleon Dynamite. I'll say, you're like that for 3D printing. And I will definitely look after this coin. Although I gotta say, you probably should wash your bed, because you've got a bit of glue stick still at the back of it. You probably should wash the parts afterwards to get the glue stick off. I don't really care. It's just funny. Does Calvin have a YouTube channel? Yes, he does. It's Make It with Calvin. Go check it out. Right, John is asking a very relevant question. Did I stop by the Ono booth? Okay. Full story. So me and Joel went over to the Ono booth to check it out as they were setting up, and they were getting these really nice boxes out of their bags, putting them on the table, setting up prints, and all this sort of stuff. They saw Joel, he said hi, and they saw me, and then something clicked, and they were like, it's that guy. And then it got kind of interesting, because obviously they hate me very much for doubting their campaign. And they introduced them as fake so-and-so, themselves as fake so-and-so. I never said they were fake people. I just said that their product was kind of vaporware. And essentially, that booth was mobbed the entire 2 days, and I didn't get a chance to come close to it since that meeting before they set up completely. Basically, from what I understand, a lot of my friends went there. They had one machine on the booth, which was in standby mode, so the lights were pulsing, but nothing was actually printing. And I'm not sure what the reasons were as to why they weren't printing, but This is secondhand knowledge, secondhand, Chinese whispers, but apparently it was because there was too many people around. I'm not sure why. Also, apparently on Saturday, a lot of angry backers approached them and wanted to see proof of the product. So something that upset me a little bit is they were using that event for pre-orders, even though they couldn't demonstrate the product did function at the event. But they did have something, to be fair. So, Ono, if you ever watch this, send me one of your products. I will eat my words if it functions. But if you don't do that, I will continue doubting your systems. Anyway, okay, that's going to be Ono. Epic Killer, thank you for the $2. I got a Cocoon Crate from Aldi. Thanks, best channel. Awesome. You're probably one of the few people who actually managed to get one. Alright. More stuff. Yeah, Joel just linked the photo of Ono, like, legit choking me. Like, they actually put their hands around my neck. They hate me so much. Okay. 3D printing nerd. So, I caught up with Joe from Malta, 3D printing... Sorry, 3D Maker noob. 3D printing nerd. That's Joel. 3D Maker noob is Joe. And he's from Malta, and he came all the way out with his lovely partner to the US for kind of a honeymoon, I guess, trip around the US, and gave me one of his coins. Joe is an absolute champion. I'm so happy to have met him. He is absolutely, accessible, approachable, down to earth, always keen, always someone who just wants, have a good chat, and just really, really cluey, actually. Despite not being in 3D printing for a very long time, he has picked up a lot, and he's very knowledgeable. So if you don't know 3D Maker Noob's channel, go check him out. He's got some very high quality content on there, and all the way from Malta as well. So yeah, I'd like to visit there one day. My dad's been there. I wouldn't mind going to Malta one day. Peter said Barnacles was very outspoken about the Ono. It wasn't nice. Well, to be fair, the thing that Jerry is good at is being loud and, I suppose, honest about what he's saying. He was very much up against Glowforge, trying to dispel some of their sort of marketing jargon, the Glowforge 3D laser printer, whatever they're calling it, which is just bull. And I'm glad that he did that with Ono as well, because you gotta put your money where your mouth is. If you're promising a 3D printer for $99, it's got to be shown to be working. I would never attend a trade show with a non-functional product. That's just misleading, and I just can't get behind something like that. It's just all it just shouts scam to me. I don't care if it can work elsewhere. I'm not going to show it working in a trade show. Then something's wrong. Anyway. Dude, Unlikely Creators lost his beanie at San Francisco. That sucks. That explains why he didn't have your beanie on. Man, if anyone found Unlikely Creators' beanie, please let him know. Okay. This. Alright. So, story time. At the Meta Hackers meetup, I finally met up with Travis from Aparo Design. So Trav works with metal laser cutters and all sorts of high-tech machinery, and he made fidget spinners for pretty much all of us. So this is not just a 3D printed fidget spinner. It's actually laser cut from aluminium and steel sandwiched together, then printed with sublimation. So, he's gotten my logo, he's done all these details to it to make it look funky, and then put it together. It's one of the coolest things I own now. So Trav is an absolute champ. And basically, he road trip all the way to Meta Hackers meetup, and then road trip all the way to the San Mateo Bay Area Maker Faire. It's just and sleeping in the back of his car. So, as a sort of a gift, it's one of the coolest things I've got, and it is awesome. It is heavy. You could kill someone with this. And the thing about it is he's selling them on Etsy. So if you want to go check them out on Etsy, you can buy one with your own logo on it, or Barnacles' logo on it, stuff like that. Super cool. Oh, thank you, Bob, for the $2. Appreciate it. Just going back on what stuff that was stolen. Some of you may remember my combat fidget spinner. This one. This is a previous version. I had it at the Melbourne event, and it got pinched off the table. So I put it down for a few seconds. I was using it to show people what you can do with 3D printing with tolerances and that sort of thing. And someone pinched it. It actually disappeared. So I don't know who took it. I don't know if it was like a CEO from one of the large corporate companies there. Don't know if it was a fan. But if you do have it, please look after it, because I was very upset about that. And yeah, I mean, I don't care about many things, but that was like, I spent a lot of time getting that working, if you saw my video on making the combat robot fidget spinner. So to have that just pinched was kind of crappy. Anyway, stuff happens. So going back to the chat. Mike, Angus, I really enjoyed the chat, and thanks for signing my Makers Muse coin. I need to work on my signatures. I'm not used to signing things. My real estate agent said, haha, your signature looks different on every page. So yeah, I need to work on that. And Joel, thanks for signing my penny spinner. It was a great event. Yeah, it was awesome fun. Right. Yeah, so Joel's saying for Trav to get to Matter Hackers, it was a 7-hour drive. Absolutely nuts. I don't know how you guys do it. Okay. More things. More stuff and things. 3D Maker Noob sticker. Thank you, Joe. I met this guy, Geek Smithing. So his thing was to basically take photos of people with the Game Boy camera. Which was like, I remember that from when I was in primary school. And he actually had the Game Boy printer as well to print them out. I've got it in my wallet somewhere, but he actually printed a little picture of me out on this thermal paper. Super cool. So check out Geek Smithing. I don't know anything about his channel, or if he doesn't have, I don't know if he has a channel, but he was a really cool dude. Again, I'm bad with names. I do apologize if I don't remember your name. I'm absolutely shocking. Nerd HQ, I hung out with him for a while during Jerry's streams. That was awesome. Where's the big nerd sticker? Where are you? There it is. I'm totally going to be putting that to use. What else we got? I think that's almost everything. There's probably a few smaller things here. That's a cool Maker coin, dual color. I'm not sure whose that was. I do apologize. Likewise with this one, this is Wirecat. It's a nice little coin as well. Thank you guys for giving me your coins. It's really cool. I do treasure them. I will keep them safe. Yeah, Will is saying, that 3D print guy, a lot of booth operators said people were stealing stuff, bloody annoying. And that's at like a corporate event in Melbourne. That's pretty sucky. This is pretty cool. This print was done on a 3D printer made from Lego. So, just as a because you could do it kind of thing, they had a table with printers made from Lego running Mindstorm's electronics and actually making it print stuff with 3D printing pens. And they had, where is it? They gave me a brick. There you go. Robot Maker. So go check them out if that's kind of your thing. The print quality wasn't fantastic, but the fact is they were getting stuff off it, which is pretty sick. Okay. Mike, Angus, can't wait to see what you use the Raspberry Pi Zero for with my buddy Sean. Bought you at the Mac. Oh, so it was you. Thank you so much, Mike. Yeah, I'm actually going to use it for something cool. Cheeseburger, thanks for the $2. Appreciate it. Oh, Joel, you don't have to do that. I had so much fun hanging out with Joel, the 3D printing nerd. It was an absolute blast. So, someone has to go have to jet. Thanks for being awesome. So thankful I got to meet you at real life. Dude, likewise. Thank you so much for being there. I had so much fun catching up, and it's not going to be the last time, without a doubt. We have a Buzz Designs little thing. I think it's yours, Lauren. Little tag, which is awesome. And and we have the Ari show. So go check out the Ari show if you want to see something adorable. Thanks to Heather, I got to meet Ari, and it was very cute. I gave her a Maker coin, and she gave me this. Very, very sweet. little thing. So I'm gonna put that in there. And I think that's it. There's probably a few other things in the bag I haven't unpacked yet, but that's what I've got here. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of swag, you know, a lot of things. So yeah, the Bay Area Maker Faire was absolutely crazy, and unfortunately on the Sunday I got very sick, so I couldn't really attend. It's a combination of just exhaustion from 2 weeks of traveling to something I ate. And there was alcohol involved, but not too much. I think it's mostly because of what I ate and then I had a bit of booze. Probably not the best idea, but basically my body said no. And I slept the whole day. I just couldn't do anything. Really disappointing, but lesson learned. Don't do 2 trade shows in a row. I mean, I was already suffering before Bay Area Maker Faire even started, and it was so crazy that I just lost all my energy. So for next time, I'm going to be flying direct to the event and just going to the events, because I can't fly and then road trip and then event and then road trip and event. It just killed me. I'm too fragile for that. I'm an introvert. And it was just exhausting, unfortunately. But I had so much fun meeting all of you guys. It was an absolute blast. And again, thank you so much to my sponsors for getting me there. You know, X3D, who, sell filament in Australia. Lulzbot. There you go, the camera's reversed. Lulzbot, who have an open source hardware approach, and you can buy them from Core Electronics in Australia. I just had an absolute blast, and it will be happening again. So that's pretty much it for the event. I've probably missed a few things, but that's pretty it for the recap of the Bay Area Maker Faire event. So I'm going to jump through to the chat now, and any questions you guys have, shoot them through. They might be related to what it was like being an Aussie in the US, or if you have any questions. That 3D print guy, did the Wasp guy contact you yet? Yes, absolutely they did. So Wasp 3D printers were at the National Manufacturing Week event, and they make big printers. So I wouldn't mind catching up with them at some point. Also, just quickly, Will, who's that 3D print guy, me and him went to the MakerBot booth at the National Manufacturing Week event and kind of pretended we didn't know anything and went around, and I'm pretty sure they knew who I was because they were a bit cagey, but I was kind of criticizing some things about their prints. But I'll be honest, the new MakerBot replicators, the 5th gens, they may as well call them the 6th gens because they're completely different machines. They're not at all the same as the original 5th gen I used to use that I hated. They have changed things, but it doesn't escape the fact that they treat extruders like consumables and that they're so expensive without having a heated platform or enclosure or anything like that. It's just, the ecosystem doesn't make sense to me. It might make sense to a school or university where time is money and you'd rather swap an entire extruder than fix it. But as an individual, the whole system doesn't make sense to me. Oh, Chris, thank you for the $5. Hey, Angus, thanks for helping me get into 3D printing. I put a Titan Aero on my CNC mill. I'm making parts right now. That's cool. Back in the day when RepRap was just starting, that would have been called a rep strap, where you take a CNC item and turn it into a 3D printer to start 3D printing objects. Luke is saying we need a larger Maker Faire here in Australia. Yes, so take a sip of my energy juice. On the flight back to Australia, I was thinking of how we could invigorate the maker community here in Australia. And in Sydney, there isn't really any events for makers at all. There used to be 3D printing meetups through 3D printing studios, but they've kind of stopped doing those for over a year now. Now they just use that meetup group pretty much for training classes, which is fair enough. They don't get any money through entertaining nerds like myself. So watch this space. I'm going to be talking to people about hiring a venue and doing what basically was the Midwest RepRap Festival, but in Australia, because I honestly think that's what we need. We need a meeting where all of us can come together with our machines, show off our mods, have a chat, just geek the heck out and catch up without any real commercial interests, because that's what Midwest RepRap Festival looked like it was about, and I would have absolutely loved to have been there. Sure, there could be manufacturers and suppliers, but that shouldn't be the focus. It should be about the community. So yeah, I mean, I'm open for ideas. Definitely keep in touch about that, and I'll let you know how I progress. It may be a crowdfunding campaign to gauge the interest. It may be through a university, I don't know. But I think it has to happen. I think we need more engagement in Australia for that sort of thing. Future Maniacs. Angus, could the lattice cube break a 3D printer? No, it shouldn't break a 3D printer. It may fail and cause your nozzle to get sort of a bit of plastic on it. But basically, the thing about the lattice cube is if it fails, you can hear it fail. It'll go crack. I'm playing with the QCM. It'll go crack and break, and you can definitely hear it. So don't print it without you being around, because it might fail within the first hour. But it shouldn't break anything. It's a 3D print. It's not like the 3D print's got a virus in it that's going to set your printer on fire. It may just fail, and it's worth keeping an eye on it if it does fail. Unlikely to go, internet cutting out. Awesome time meeting you. Dude, it was awesome meeting you too. Stay in touch. Peter was asking a big congrats on the 100k while you are surrounded by everyone. Any plans on a Maker Faire that size in Australia? Yep, just going back to what I was talking about with Luke. Maybe. I think I definitely would love to do something like that. Makers Muse, what's the driving distance from Perth to Sydney if it's drivable? Dude, it's like on the other side of the continent. It's really, you're going across desert for hours and hours and hours. I don't know the exact time, but I would probably die. People die doing that trip because if your car breaks down, you need so much water, and it's nuts. Absolutely crazy. Shivel, thanks for the $5. Try the green apple flavored mother if you haven't yet. It's really tasty. Yes, it is. It's delicious. But it's so acidic, I found it was actually making my throat hurt. So I can't have them very often, but they are amazing. Dan's is saying AURF, Australian Rep Festival. Absolutely. Ben, I dare you to comb the 3D printing nerd's hair the next time you see him. Joel's hair is uncombable. Once it's up there, it's done. It's like my hair when I used to wake up in the morning before university. It used to be like, I'd have a shower before going to bed, and it would just be like, it does what it does. You can't do anything to it. It just stays up and stays where it wants to be. Yeah, dude, Jatman, if you ever want to come to Australia, the invite's always there for you. You're always welcome. I gotta admit, it was so nice coming back, driving from Sydney back to Wollongong, coming over the hills and seeing all the greenery in the ocean. It was really nice. As much as we don't have as much stuff here as the US, I do like the scenery. It's very relaxing. So I think you definitely enjoy your trip here. Sam's asking, is the quad extrusion Prusa i3 worth buying? So yeah, that's a good point. They are now shipping that. Finally, I actually talked to Joseph Prusa myself and said congratulations on shipping. And yeah, if you want to do full color, then yes, absolutely it's worth buying. But it's really a niche case. Not many people want to do multicolor. I certainly don't really do it very often myself. So it comes down to what you want. If you've got the money to spend on an upgrade, go for it. But keep in mind, multicolor out of a single nozzle means you need to purge each color change, and you end up with a block of material like that much solid of just purge material. So it's gonna waste filament. But it's not a big deal. Yes, Steve is saying the trip from Sydney to Perth is 41 hours, nearly 4,000 kilometers. It's far. I wouldn't do that in my Echo. Let's be fair. When I lived in Perth, I got the Echo shipped over on a train and then brought back on a truck. There's no way I'd drive it because I would die. Polar White Fur, do I recommend 3D printers and filament and accessories from Hobby King? Are they okay? Look, Hobby King has a bad rap. I've been using them since I used to build robots, since they used to be called United Hobbies on eBay, before they even have a website. Let's be fair, Hobby King is a cheap Chinese source of parts. Doesn't mean they're going to be the best quality, but it means they're going to be affordable. And that's what they do. So their filament works. It's probably not the best, but it works. And their printers, just because they sell them, doesn't mean that they're any worse than anything else you'd buy from China. I mean, they sell the Malians, they sell the Ups if you're in different countries. They can't sell into Australia because 3D printing systems have the exclusivity, and I'd much rather you buy through them. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing. The Hobby King, Fabricator Mini was hugely popular, and that was through Hobby King. So just keep in mind, if you buy from Hobby King, don't expect support, because that's not their business model. They're cheap because they don't do support very well. So if you want a good support, buy from a local reseller or a local distributor where you'll get better support. But if you don't care, then Hobby King's not a bad way to go. Starfilm Animations asking if I've heard about First Robotics. Yes, I have. Going back to the start of the stream, I did see that at Area Maker Faire, but it's not really my thing because I don't like the fact you have to use kit parts. I do get it, it levels the playing field, but I prefer to just build machines from crap and go from there. Future Maniacs, am I doing more vids like the solids of constant width? Yes, absolutely I am. So while I was away, that video went bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. It's got 1.5 million views, and I don't know what happened. I was just putting forward a video of my interest in these weird shapes, and it just went nuts. So there's various different types of solids of constant width I can do now beyond the revolve types. So yes, absolutely I'll be following it up. If not only for my own interest, but clearly it was pretty popular. So if it's something you want to see, then absolutely I'll do it. Colin, silly Australian dialect with your aluminium, your kilometers, and your university. I had so much fun on Jerry's stream over on his Barnacles, coffee with Jerry stream, saying words like that. It was an absolute blast. Patent, all these different words. It's really funny just seeing people's reactions. Makers Muse, what would you say that the best printer for the least money? Again, this is my stock answer. Go check out my video of 3D printers for $350 or less, and there'll be one in that list for you. Right, it's 11:30, so I'm going to finish up very shortly. But digital chemistry, what are your thoughts on the multitude of Core XY Hypercube designs? So the original Hypercube design was made by Tech2C, another fellow Australian, and it's a really nice design, and that's probably why it's so popular. So of course you're going to get variations on that. He's done some strange choices, I'll be honest, like using carbon fiber rods instead of steel rods. I don't know how much that's carbon fiber is very abrasive, so you're probably going to end up wearing the bearings out faster for a 3D printer. I don't know if you care or not, but yeah, it's popular because it's good. So if you want to build one later in the year, then it's a good machine to go for. Angus, Makers Muse, have you tried using the Ruby tip nozzle yet? No, I haven't. I haven't tried the Olsen Ruby yet. I think Joel is going to test one or has one, and I might try to get hold of one. It looks like jewelry. I saw one at the fair. It does look like jewelry, and if you're going to be printing abrasive materials, it's pretty cool. But it's expensive. It's bling for a 3D printer. That's the best way to put it. If you got cash to burn, then it's awesome. Otherwise, it's way too expensive. You could buy like 100 normal nozzles. W2F Mac is saying Wollongong's awesome. Shout out to Balgownie and FTTP. Oh yeah. So reason why I moved here is for the FTTP, and I can get 100 symmetrical megabits per second. Unlike Bondi, which is you can get 1 megabit upload, and that's it. Good old Labour and good old Liberal for stuffing it up. Okay, a couple more questions, guys, and I'll finish up. My throat's dying. It still hasn't recovered from the weekend event. JLC is saying, I'd love to see you do videos on what's coming from China next. Yeah, I am in touch with a lot of Chinese manufacturers, but again, I don't like publicizing things before they're tested. Like with Kickstarters, I stopped doing Kickstarter videos unless I have a pre-production model. That's not because I just want to get stuff. It's because I don't want to publicize a Kickstarter campaign that's fake or, fails, like Tico, just throwing it out there, or Peachy. So same with stuff from China. If it's not proven yet, you don't know if it's going to be any good. I'd rather test it myself. Masho's, thanks for the $5, saying a massive Maker Faire in Adelaide. Has that been already? I think it's already been this year. I'm going to double check. If it hasn't, I will be there, no doubt, because that sounds awesome. Okay, guys, one more question. Makers Muse, you're the reason I've been making my own parts. I used to use 123 Design, but now I've moved to Onshape. I'm 13. I've been designing for 2 years now. Adam, that is very cool to hear. I'm really happy to hear that. That's what I like to see, the younger generation picking up 3D printing and design at that age, because if you keep up on it and if you are really interested in it, give yourself till year 11, year 12, you'll know more than people coming out of university studying those products. Like studying 3D design, you'll know more than them straight out of high school. So that makes you employable instantly if you know the right people. So keep up on it, because it's a skill that's actually exceedingly valuable and going to become more valuable as the years goes on, as VR and rapid manufacturing becomes more and more commonplace. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it there. My throat's wrecked, and it's been an absolute awesome experience catching up with you guys. Oh, Alex, thank you for jumping in right at the end. This is going to be uploaded on YouTube, so you can watch it later, and hopefully the chat will keep things constant so you can keep an eye on things. And for everyone I met at Bay Area Maker Faire or National Manufacturing Week in Melbourne, thank you so much for coming up and saying hi, because I make these videos to help you people, to help you guys, to help empower creativity through 3D printing. I don't do it for myself. I don't do it for some sort of narcissistic reason. I'm passionate about it. That's why I make these videos. So thank you so much for coming out and taking the time out of your day to come and say hi, because it means so much to me. And thank you so much for subscribing and helping the channel reach this 100,000. You know, I can do this for my full-time job now because of you. And I am so thankful. So after thanking all my sponsors, you know, X3D, ALF Objects, PO Poly, 3D Printing Systems, I want to thank you guys on Patreon as well, because I haven't been fully attentive to Patreon while I've been away, and I haven't seen a huge drop because you guys have been supporting me, and thank you so much for that. So keep an eye out on Patreon for some really cool behind the scenes content that I'm going to stick up on there. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. It really means a lot to me. All right, guys, I'm going to call it there. Have a fantastic Friday evening or Saturday afternoon, whatever time it is there. And I look forward to seeing you again very shortly here on Makers Muse. Catch you later, guys. Bye.